Let me get things ready.
Kai.
Yes.
In the Facebook, there's only link through Facebook, but there is somebody asking that could you put the Google Meet link?
Google Meet link to where? Oh, to the old one.
Facebook page.
It is a Google Meet page, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't have the, if you have an app or something, so Facebook
okay.
puts it in a
okay,
own address there.
Okay, let me see. Yeah. Let me check and do that. Google Meet.
I've already added the code to join on the Face group message.
Yeah, I put the link in the Facebook group. Let me check to make sure.
It's there. That's how I got here.
Yeah, it should be there. It's all there. They just need to click it. Let me try to.
People may also need to sort it by new rather than featured or anything like that, because it might not be showing up at the top of the group when you.
I'll connect to feature. How's that?
That would probably help.
Is it worth posting in the Discord channel as well?
Yeah, let me do that as well. Try to find Discord.
I already put it in Discord.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yep.
All right.
That's where I got it from.
Okay. So let me get started then. I'm probably running late. Okay. So so this is my Stellarium. So I'm running a Stellarium with 3 Seestar connected. So let me kind of give you an idea how.
Am I the only one not?
You're not sharing yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me try that.
Are you recording this, Kai?
Yes, I'm recording.
Okay.
Where's my? There we go. Hey, where is that? Hold on a second. Let me see. Can you not see my screen?
Not yet.
Not yet. No.
Are you pushing that button in the bottom with the arrow up, the square with the arrow?
Let me see. I'm trying. I can't even find my. There you go. There you go. Yeah, I had some screen things on top.
Still not seeing it. Still don't see it.
It's starting soon. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Got it.
Coming in.
Got it.
All right. Perfect. Let me see. Okay. Can you see my Stellarium?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So this is for those who may not know, this is a pretty popular, pretty nice graphic planetarium app. It's cross-platform, Stellarium. I currently have 3 Seestar connected to it. So let me give you an idea how this is done. In the configuration, there's a plugin called Telescope. Here I connected 3 of my Seestar, alpha, beta, and gamma. In a get started, I'll show you how this is done, but it's very typical. It's just how you connect to an ASCOM driver to a mount. So it's connected. So you do that. So now my current location of my Seestars are here. So you can see 2 are kind of aiming at the sky. 1 is actually pointing down. I made it intentionally this way. So let me see. I'm gonna imagine I just turn on the Seestar Alpha. I just turn it on and then I just connected it. Now, this is my app right now it's faceless. It simply uses a Python app. To start it, it's here we go, Python 3 app.py. So once you install Python, you run this, that will be it. Everything will be, it's configured. Actually, maybe something, oh, that's okay. So once you configure it, it'll find my 3 Seestars. It has my IP addresses right here. You see that? And then that's it. So this app now is it's front end of my 3 Seestars. And once I do that,
So the so the app is understanding that Stellarium is connected.
it doesn't care. All this app is that it's waiting for anybody who want to connect, and it'll be the agent for that front end app. Think about this is like the middleman. This in front of, it's like in charge of all the communications. So I can now have any front end in front to talk to this middleman, and this middleman will talk to my Seestars.
Is this connected via Wi-Fi? There's no internet needed, right?
No internet, it's Wi-Fi. It's all Wi-Fi.
Thank you.
You can also do on a network, just Ethernet as well. It doesn't matter. It's just network. Whatever you can connect through this address, I can connect to it. Nothing else.
So, Kai, when I turn on this Seestar, this app is joining the Seestar's network to get its IP address the same way that the app does?
Yeah. So one thing is that when you turn on your Seestars, you want to make sure it's in the station mode. Is it station mode? I forgot the name now. It's the station mode. So you don't want direct. It's a station mode. So you actually give you an IP address. It's going to talk to your home Wi-Fi network. Make sense?
Oh, okay. So it's just another connected device on my network as opposed to having its own network.
Exactly. So in the station mode, all your Seestars is just another connected device.
And these IP addresses that we're seeing here, where it says initialize new instance Seestar, are those configured in your software, or are they only configured in Stellarium or whatever?
No, it's configured in my middleman. So of course my middleman needs to know where they are. So it's a text file that tells you what the IP address for, and essentially you give the name and the IP address. I was going to show that to you, but I'll wait for later. But it's simply just a text file. It's simply
when you start up Seestar, when you first turn it on, you're connecting, and you're supposed to connect. You start by connecting to the Seestar's Wi-Fi spot, correct?
So if you set up your Seestar in the station mode, it automatically will automatically connect to your Wi-Fi network.
Oh, it will. Okay, and then you can use this app.
Yeah, it's just waiting for commands. It's no different when you're in station mode. You turn it on, and then you turn on. You open up your Seestar app, and then you connect it. Right? All right. Nothing else. The thing is that I don't have my Seestar app running, but I could. I can actually have my Seestar app talk to one of these or any of these. But
Stellarium is running on a computer, PC or Mac, right?
Exactly. Stellarium, I'm running everything on my Windows laptop.
Windows, okay.
And my Windows laptop is also hosting my middleman app, Seestar app. So everything I'm running is in my Windows. But you don't need to. You can run all this in the Linux or Raspberry Pi or Seestar, whatever, or Mac.
Well, Stellarium runs on a Mac.
Yeah, exactly. That's why you can run this.
You can do it on a Mac as well.
Yeah, you can. That's why you can run on a Mac. You can run on Linux. You can run on Windows. You can run on Raspberry Pi. Anything that runs, any modern operating system will support Python and Stellarium. Anything. Okay. So this essentially is my middleman. It's faceless. It just runs behind the scenes. You don't even have to worry about it. It just does things behind the scenes. Okay. I'm going to hide it now. So right now, this Stellarium is actually connecting to my middleman, and I'm doing this. So now, remember my diagram? I have all these 3 other things on my left to talk to my middleman. So I'm going to show you my second one now. So this is where the action is. So this is an app called Postman. So essentially it's nothing but able to send command as any command through the network. So I'm using this as my test bed to send these specific ASCII commands to my middleman. So for example, let's look at this one. The example here. So I have my alpha Seestar alpha in the station in below mode, right? I just turned it on. It's the camera's facing down. That's why it's facing all the way to the bottom of the earth. Okay. So I'm gonna tell it to wake up. So what I do? So I have a startup right here. Okay, so here's one of the categories of stuff called startup. I want to tell it to start up. I highlight that, and because it's a Seestar alpha, so it's device 1. And I just tell it to send. What I'm trying it to do is that I want device 1 to start up, and watch what happens. And you notice in here, I can actually set up parameters here, meaning that if you're interested in spoofing your location, for example, people who want to do just spoof it as North Pole or South Pole, you can actually enter that location here. But since I don't want to spoof it, 0, in that case, it'll just get the closest from my network. But you can actually enter your location if you want. Watch what happens. So I'll send it. So you can see right here, see the alpha? It's actually moving the arm up. So I have it set up programmatically. If I start up, I tell it the location, I set the time, I tell it it's a valid Seestar, and I tell it to wake up and move up to the position I want it to go. You see that? It's still moving because it's moving all the way up toward, because I'm putting equatorial setting, it's getting toward pretty high up. Okay, here we go. So now I have 3 Seestar in these locations. Now what happens is that let's say I want to have that alpha go to Capella. Capella. Oh, let's go to Star. Here we go. Let's call this Star. So I can actually tell it to, let's say I want to choose this current object. So now the location, the RA and DEC is updated. And I want my alpha right here, my device alpha, to go there. Do you hear the background? That alpha Seestar just saying I'm finding the object now. So essentially, it's as if I went to Seestar app to, see right there, it's moving. Essentially, as if I went to Seestar app in the star atlas to say, go to that star. I didn't use the app, I used this. You see it? You saw how I moved there. So in here, I'm using the Stellarium to guide any Seestars I have at my disposal. I can tell it to slew, or I can tell it to sync.
Very nice.
All right. I can do all of this and these 3. I can if I have 10 Seestar, then I have 10 Seestars here. And in fact, I can have it so that I can tell all of them to go to the same position in one command if I want. The key thing is that anything you can do on the original Seestar mobile app, now you can do this way. And in fact, the Seestar app intentionally hide commands from you, so you cannot do things like dithering and gain and stuff. I discovered what those are, and now I can do that on top. So that's what's going on. Make sense?
Yep.
All right. So let me show you the next things I want to. So let's say I want to do my schedule. Well, I can actually just do a simple do a mosaic. I see it, there's a mosaic right here, start mosaic, and the command are here. So here's the parameters. I can name whatever target I want. You're not limited to anything now. You can name anything you want. You can say the target is, you can name any target you want, or you can actually just say put -1, so they'll take the current one, whatever is in. And these are things, these are parameters I kind of mentioned to you. So how many panels, how offset, and what's gain. And once that, you tell send, then it's going to do everything for you. That's it.
So this is Postman that you're saying is that we would be using to communicate to you.
This is one recommended way, but it's not limited to this. So my thinking is that once I expose this platform, somebody with a GUI background can write their own GUI and make a nicer thing. They can just simply do all kind of anything you want. But the basic idea is that the foundation is all here. But you can make a nice GUI or simple GUI or anything, or can do all kind of stuff on top. Anybody who knows how to program will know what I'm talking about. All right, but basic idea is that if I want to just do a simple mosaic, remember I just told you I move alpha to this star, right? And I want to do mosaic. I simply just click mosaic. And remember I told you I want to go that device 1, that's alpha, right? I have 3 devices, I want device 1. I enter whatever parameters I want in terms of gain and how many panels. I just say send, and that's it. It will do its thing. And remember, there's a session time, so you can say, I'm doing it for 1 hour here. This means that if I have 4 panels, 2 by 2, I do all 4 panels in 1 hour. If I do all night, I can do 5 hours, whatever. It's in seconds. That's it. You don't do anything else. So that's how you can do mosaic. So repeat is that I can aim anything I want anywhere. In fact, you don't need to go there. You can just sync it. It would then, because syncing is pretend it's there, then you can just do it there. And if I say send, it will actually go ahead and do that. All right. Now you may heard in the background where you say the center object failed, because what happened when I actually tell it to salute to the object, it's a smart telescope. What it's actually doing is actually move to that position and actually do plate solving to look for that position to make sure I'm there. If it's not there, it'll actually do a centering. Because I'm actually inside the house, there's no, I mean, it's still bright outside, so you cannot, that's why it failed to plate solve. I'm actually taking advantage of that to do all kind of other stuff. So it's actually plate solving. It just told me that it just failed. But if I want to do mosaic, that's all I need to do. Move over there, click on this star mosaic, and say send, and then it'll just go ahead and do it. But that's only if I just want to do mosaic. But if I just do a normal one, I don't want mosaic, just simple one. All it's exactly the same. The only difference is that I just change this number to 1 and 1. Then it just center right in the center. No difference. So mosaic and non-mosaic, now exactly the same command. All right. Now let me show you now how to actually do a whole night scheduling. Okay. How do I do that? So there's it's what I call schedule. So let's get my current schedule. It's a simple command for device 1. It's nothing else but say schedule. Right now, there's nothing in my schedule. There's nothing. The state it's stopped. Let's say I want to add. Here we go. I want to add a mosaic item. Okay. So what is exactly the same before is it would go ahead and add exactly the mosaic, but now it's actually an item. So if I send that, you see what happened in here is that in my schedule, there's a first item. It's a list. The first item is mosaic right here. So now I'm building up my schedule. So first thing, I want to go to this star position, whatever, and get an image for 500 seconds. Then let's say in my schedule now I want to wait. Let's say I want to wait for 10 minutes. So I can do that. So I can add another schedule. So here I wanted to wait for 60 seconds. So here's my second part of my schedule. You see here, the first one is mosaic. The second is wait for 60 seconds. So let's say now I want to autofocus. I want autofocus between objects. I can start autofocus. Here I want to autofocus and retry twice. All right, so my schedule is building up now. So I do a mosaic. I wait for 6 seconds, autofocus, and let's say I want to do another one. So I want to add another mosaic. But in this case, let's say I want to go Capella. Okay, so I sync. I don't have to tell. Oh, got it. Current object, sync. So you see this, now I think it's in Capella. So if I add another mosaic item with -1, and I call that as a Capella. All right, so look what happened. I do the first star, I wait 6 seconds, autofocus, and now my Capella. See the RA and deck is all entered and whatever. So my schedule is this, and after I'm done, let's say I want to shut down or park. Let's shut down. So I want to add a schedule. So again, you click. It simply shut down, add it. So that's my complete schedule. So I just told it to go to 2 different mosaics. In between, I want to sleep for 6 seconds and autofocus, and then shut down and go to sleep. So if I'm ready, I simply tell it to start schedule, and then it will do everything for you, and you can go to sleep. Does it make sense?
Yes, it does.
All right. So that's how you can do scheduling. Now, if I have time to write a nice GUI, I can make a nice GUI on top. But basically, that's all you need to do. If you know how to click, then you know how to run.
Do you have a specialized arrangement under that Spectra thing for doing objective mounted spectroscopy using that Thor Labs?
Yep. Right here, I actually have a special one called Start Spectra. Now, the key with Spectra is that when you put a grating in front, you do not see stars or any stars. So
Understood.
that means is that when you try to tell it to move to position, it would fail. So how do I work around that? That's why it's not a mosaic anymore. It's a special flow called Spectra, so that what it would do is actually move there, but don't place off. I kind of know where it is. I tell it to move exactly where I think to go there, and it would just start there. So, for example, if I want to do a high resolution spectra of one of the stars, I just do exactly the same thing, but instead of start mosaic, I say start spectra. They don't do exactly the same. I think what I find out is that Seestar is actually pretty good in terms of finding locations. It may be off a little bit, but not too far. So if you start from somewhere relatively close, it'll be right dead on.
When you send coordinates, is that for does the mosaic center on those coordinates, or is that the top left?
It's centered on the whatever location it will be centered. So what the logic I wrote is that all the panel will span from the center in the RA and the deck node. Now, one thing cool about Stellarium too is that you see you actually have equatorial grid on top of the azimuth grid. So equatorial grid, you can actually tell how it's going to move. See right here, this is Capella, and you can see this is the deck location, and this is RA location. So you can actually see how it shifts, because that exactly is the orientation of your sensor. So that's why I use this much more than using the Seestar app, because you know exactly where you're going. So I don't use that app at all now. Make sense? So you can think of all these commands. So I'll give you an overview. So you can do all kind of scheduling. In fact, all these things you can put in schedule. There's a plate solve, and when you do a plate solve, it actually can report back. So you can move to any blind location, and I can issue a command called plate solve, and it would tell the Seestar to start imaging and solve the current image and tell you the location, and it tell you how many stars there are. So I see that pretty useful, and that's why I mean for last week or two I've been kind of digging through all kind of stuff. There's a lot of gold nuggets that I found, and these all captured here.
Kai, a question.
Yep.
You mentioned this plate solving. So does it mean that when you start and you take the arm up into the sky where you know that there are stars, so you do the plate solving and you don't need to do this 3-star plate solving?
Well, the 3-star plate solving is required because it needs to orient itself.
Okay.
I think the plate solve, what Seestar does is that when you tell it to go to a target, you actually would see in the app is that it go to a target, it may be off a little bit, right? But then after a while, it does this dance to say, it starts shifting, start up and down. What's actually doing is that once you get to a location, it'll plate solve, it'll identify that location and know I'm off a little bit, so it shift it and then do again until the tolerance is met. And by plate solving it, then it actually behind the scene, I think it does sync as well. So it updates your sky model in Seestar so that it get a better model of your sky. So yeah, so you can actually issue many plate solve commands. You can actually create your own 3-star alignment using this. In fact, I can create a 3-star alignment routine and put it here. Make sense?
Yes,
so,
it makes sense, and that would be very nice.
Yeah, and here's the other things I kind of give you an idea. So you can tell it to reboot. You can tell it to shut down. Here's, you can sync. You can tell it to start stacking. You can change the gain. You can stop the view. Literally anything you click on the app, I have a command here for that I find useful. So the other thing that's really cool is that all these commands, all these status, I can get all kind of information about. Let me see, I have some information here. Let me just have some examples. I don't have examples here, but think of all these different things. I can get all kind of current status in terms of temperature, the current gain, the current setting for the dithering, the current whatever. It's all here. You can get the time. You can get the annotated results. You can get the camera information. You can get that's how much space you have. You can tell the battery time, anything. It's all here.
So Kai, we can call all these functions from like a startup section or a startup routine.
You can do any. In fact, if you know Python, you can do anything you want because all this now is exposed to. All these are essentially commands I figured out, and you can actually. My startup command consists of a few things. My startup command tell it to set the time. I tell it to set the location. I tell it to raise the arm, and I tell it to say I'm a legitimate user. That's it. But you can do all kind of stuff. What you can do then is that you can tell it to plate solve, then you know exactly where you are, and then you can also tell, you can repeat plate solve until the number of stars meet your criteria. Then you can do whatever you want. So literally, the sky's your limit. Anything you want, it's all programmable.
Kai, what I usually do is I take an image every 5 minutes. So I go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So between, say, 20 and 25, there's a huge streak that came through, satellite. I'll just use the 20-minute one. But if I let it go all the way to 25, I just get a huge streak and I lost everything. Does your program have that feature where I can take a picture every 5 minutes, 7 minutes, whenever I want, and keep adding? You know what I'm saying?
You could, in that you can actually plate solve, and I think what it does is that you can, if there's a lot of, if you have jitter in your image, it will not plate solve, right? So it will fail. Right. So you can actually reject those. But in your case, I would much easier to just save all the frames and you post-process those. You can reject those.
But when I do that, the Seestar asks me, do you want to restart, continue, or cancel? I just say continue.
Yeah, continue.
It just continues on, and so goes, 20, 21, 22, exactly. And then 5 minutes, I'll take another snapshot and save that. And so that way, if there's a satellite image that goes in between those, I just save the one prior and I'm all set. There's not that much difference.
Yeah, there are many ways to skin the cat in terms of getting rid of satellites. So that's one way. But
that's my way of doing it. Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Again, remember a lot of those in terms of like saving unsafe frames and stuff like that. Those are all configuration as well. So there are actually commands you can actually do that. So there's actually commands I listed here that would do that. So you can actually set configuration to save all the frames or whatever. In fact, I think there's command to save the darks too. So,
excuse me, Kai.
Yeah.
Do you recommend we stay on a certain firmware version?
Yes, I would say up to the current version, it's good. My concern is that once Seestar see this, they will start hunkering down. You can imagine why. What this means is that now we know what they do. They may say, oh my God, we don't want people to know what we do. So they may actually hide all the commands and stuff. And they cannot. So that's why I've been very adamant in terms of if you like the current functionality you have, stick with it. Unless they give you like the super, I don't know what functionality they can add on top that would entice me to upgrade, but it's up to you. Because, yes.
This has been my problem, that when it says I want to update, I don't have any choices.
No. So what you want to do in these app stores is that you disable automatic update from the app store. So
no, it comes on the app.
Huh?
It comes on the app.
App store.
No. It comes on the, when I have the app, it comes on the app at please update.
Right. So what I'm saying is that there's always older version of the app, but I'm saying even the current version is fine. You can go and update, but I'm saying moving forward, I don't know what they're going to do. But what I'm saying moving forward is that you can disable the application update on the app store itself. So that means that any new Seestar app, they won't update to you automatically. They have to ask you if you want to update or not. Okay, but let me move on in here. So in terms of the file, so there's a whole bunch of commands to get all my albums, get my last image. So this is how you actually can see as to get a gauge how I'm doing is I can actually say, give me my last image. And what it does is that it will return back. If I send this, it'll send the last image and it will come back with a URL. Yeah, but this one there's no command, there's no image, that's why. But in here, this is how you can actually see all my album. You can actually browse. So you can actually create your own GUI to browse your album, but you're free to still use your free Seestar app if you want. It's not limiting you. Okay. Here's how you can change the filter. There are commands to change filters. So you can change you can change to L enhance. In fact, you know, the light pollution filter internally, they call L enhance, believe it or not. So it's actually L enhance filter. And so you can switch between L enhance and non-L enhance. You can tell it to do autofocus and get the autofocus position. You can actually tell autofocus anytime you want. You can tell it to stop. And a whole bunch of others, camera in terms of start exposures, a whole kind of stuff. So anything that I find useful, there's a list in here.
Quick question. Have you run across manual focus controls yet?
Yeah, you can actually change it. You can actually tell it to tick. But I don't see why though, because I think I find it better to tell it to do autofocus. But if you want to do incremental change, then you have to visually see it, right? But you could do that in that if you integrate OpenCV, then you can actually do your own autofocusing, right?
Right. I was just wondering because with my carbon fiber tripod, and I was having an issue autofocusing during the eclipse because there was so much wobble.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can do that because you know, even think about it, in the Seestar app itself, it has the manual focus arrows, right? The small and the long. So that each step, each click you see essentially is a focus step. So like the theme here is that anything you can do on the app, you can do with this, because at the end it's simply just command. The other thing I want to highlight is that, you know, a lot of people have this issue with that joystick to move. It's so inaccurate, right? Now you don't need to worry about that, because that means, because every command, there's a, let me show you. It's called move command, I think. Here we go. There's a whole folder for move. So you can actually do move. Where is it? Here we go. Here we go. Just move. The move is actually nothing but this command. Darn it. Here we go. It's nothing but this. It's simply speed move, how fast to move, what angle, and for how long. So now you can actually programmatically move to any specific location, how fast, any angle, and explicitly what you want. And I find it actually very, very accurate because it's stepper motor. So it's pretty reproducible. So you can move it this way, or you can actually move it to a location in lat long. Let me show you.
Kai, could you clarify how that angle is, what that angle is in reference to?
Yes, so the angle is from 0 to 360. What I actually use is that I just use the key ones, so 0, 90s, 180 to 270. The 90 is the deck the deck position. 90 is up, 270 is down. 0 is RA, one direction, 180 the other direction. But any other angle is simply a linear combination of that, right? But that's pretty much it. So in fact, if you want to use satellite control, I would start looking at this, because the speed, what I did some measurement is that the speed is actually quite linear up to 100, from 0 to 1200. After that, it's kind of stalled. It's the stabilizing. It's a stepper motor, so I think it's pretty good for satellite tracking. So you can move it this way. All right. You can change the speed, so you can have different speed as well. I think you can go to different move. You can move. You can have manual move to just move. Integrated one where you actually move and plates off until it automatically change. In fact, I kind of skimmed through it when I implemented my below horizon logic. I actually coded my own go-to routine where I actually tell it to move, plates off, and readjust until I meet within my limit. And that essentially is what Seestar is doing. But because Seestar doesn't let me go below horizon, so I have to code my own. But that's all I do. All right. So I think that's pretty much what I want to share. Let me see if there's anything else I want to. But let me see. But really the key is the framework is there. All the commands I know to do whatever I want is in this list. And now the next thing is simply just somebody use it, play with it, or even I think there's maybe some collaborators I can think of. You can actually write a GUI in front to make it even nicer GUI. So you can make like a superset of Seestar app if they want. Okay. So let me stop there. I think I talked way too much now. Let me get back to the meeting here.
Dan's got his hand up for a question.
Okay. All right. So please, fire away.
Yeah, if you don't mind, have you found a way to increase the frames per second that the Seestar can shoot video on?
I haven't focused too much on video, but I'm sure there is. It wouldn't surprise me because at the end it's just ASI 432 or 62 camera.
That's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, but the key is that I've been focusing mainly on the stargazing because that's my interest. But if you want to focus on the video side, on the landscape side, in fact, you can actually take a look at what they've done on the auto tracking because I can probably use OpenCV to do auto tracking myself. So
yeah, I've been trying to
deploy a more powerful computer, more faster tracking. You can do much better performance.
Would it be possible to have a where you could make the field of view smaller? Because some planetary nebula, like the Ghost of Jupiter, are very, very tiny, and the Eskimo Nebula, where you could eliminate a lot of it and just have a much smaller size. So now it'll appear larger and you can get the detail in that. I tried the Eskimo Nebula and the Ghost of Jupiter, and it looks terrible. It's just a white blob because it's so small.
Here's my recommendation is that that's why I have multiple Seestars, is that if you're targeting very small targets, then you image the hell out of it with lots and lots of frames, and then you do drizzle. In fact, the field of view of Seestar actually begged to do 3x drizzle. That means that you can have 3x3 time magnifications to your field of view to see really detailed stuff. In fact, when I do my ultra stack, that's what I'm doing right now on my back end, trying to stack all those stuff, is that I'm drizzling 3x, so you can see really good details on these very small galaxies and nebulas.
Oh, okay.
So that's one reason why I also I'm pushing on the array side, is that I'm gonna have like 4 or 5 of these Seestars. So think about that. You can have 4 Seestars for $2,000, and you have like an amazing thing. It's just you can do like really planetary stuff if you want. The key thing is that you want lots and lots and lots and lots of frames. If you have that, and you have relatively good optics, you can resolve 3x.
Okay, Kai, can you show in the Stellarium the telescope configuration, because that's where I have been struggling, that I just can't get anything sense out of it.
Let me get there for you. Or I'm sharing my desktop one more time. Okay, can you see my desktop? Okay,
yes.
Stellarium. So the thing is that in the plugin, there's a telescope control. And this is where you actually add more telescopes. So you can add. and he asks you all kind of stuff, ASCOM and blah blah blah. I think instead of boring everybody else, I'll walk you through afterward. But that's the basic idea. So once you configure that, then you just connect it. So that becomes now once you connect this way, that's why I say now these targets are here now. So I can actually tell my beta. Let's go to let's try this. Play this. Beta go to a Barian. So Barian. So first I'd say this target. So this the RA and deck is updated, and tell my beta to go. So I tell these are 3 device I configured. So beta, tell it to go. Watch. You heard in the background it's going to move now. Should. There you go. There you go. See that? So it's going to go through its route and then go over Barian. That's pretty much it.
So you don't see a way, Kai, I guess, to instruct Stellarium to be able to start shooting that object?
So once I tell it here, I can go to that Postman cell to create my mosaic, to schedule to start mosaic and just run.
I take it Stellarium isn't built in order to be able to execute or initiate any of those commands.
Not here because I mean I can actually write my own. Stellarium is pluggable, so you can actually create your own plugin. In which case, like a person with GUI background can actually write that.
I see. Okay.
Right. But it's nothing, simply just a command, right? So right now, Stellarium in this one exposed 2 commands, slew and sync, which I have. This is a typical ASCOM command. So if I could simply have one say shoot, then it just start. Yeah. So it's nothing but it's just a GUI front end to all the backend that I already have.
Yeah. How can we access the hidden commands in the current software?
Say that again.
How can we access the hidden commands that I remember before they had a hidden
you have to they hidden far away from you, so you have to use my stuff. But all the functionalities in the Seestar, the hardware, but they changed the software so you cannot use it. So that's why I have my own to bypass it. I don't need to use that.
Why did they do that? That's not fair.
That's a good question for them. I can answer for them. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing this.
Kai?
Yep.
I have a question for you. Is it possible? I may have missed this at the beginning. I have had to disconnect a couple of times, but anyway, is it possible to connect Seestars from volunteers like across the country?
Mm-hmm. Yep, of course. Because think about it. Once I have my middleman running in my laptop,
right,
I can imagine anybody using like even a remote desktop or anything can control
VPN, Tailscale, any direct routed setup you have with any VPN setup today. Tailscale would probably be a really good one to use it with.
Yep.
But yeah, it's you're getting what Kai has done gets you around the LAN only limitation that the native tablet app offers. So anything that would connect natively over IP, if it can connect over IP and you can route there, you could use it.
Yep, exactly. So it's open.
Have you thought about doing that for your for some of your large scale imaging that you've been trying to do? I have several people who try this, set up this on their Seestar or at their home, and then you connect to multiple sites, multiple Seestar users across the
right. So you can
tell them all sync.
You can think of my Seestar array, right? But instead of my Seestar array in my backyard, my Seestar array can be scattered all over the world. There's no difference because as long as I can talk to it through an IP address, I'm there.
Say, Kai, if I had a 4 Seestar array, what I would want to do with it is have it working cooperatively on a mosaic. So each scope working on one panel of a 4-panel mosaic, for example.
Yep.
I didn't quite see that with the setup you got right now.
That's a very simple thing. That's what I'm going to do because I have 3 Seestars, so I'm going to do a 3-panel Seestars. And so what that means that each of my Seestars do one of each panel. It's exactly what you're talking about. There's no difference because all I'm really doing is that I'm instructing each Seestar where to go and start acquiring, right? So it's no different. Am I saying, everybody go aim at this very small, tiny nebula, or do a overall mosaic? If I have 20, then I have 20 mosaic panels all doing a one shot. I mean, that's why this way it's so flexible, is that I can do anything I want. It's one of those things that you're not limited by aperture, you're not limited by the field of view, it's a limited number of Seestars. And you can control all of that.
So you do that through...
And the key thing about these is Seestar, all the logic, most of the heavyweight logic is inside the firmware. I'm just telling it what to do. So I'm the orchestra, I'm the conductor. I'm not the one playing the music.
Do you have to do the same with your program? You gotta rotate it to calibrate the compass and then level it. Do you still have to do that?
Well, so what Seestar, so go back to my theme, is that most of the heavy lifting is done by the Seestar firmware itself. So what happened is that if I'm in equatorial mode, the very first time I tell it to stack, it will do the horizontal calibration. I don't have to tell it. It automatically, because it's an intelligent telescope. So it knows the first time it's trying to stack, and that doesn't have a horizontal calibration matrix, it would do it for you. Similarly, if you're doing in the normal mode, it will try to balance. It will tell you balance.
Got about 5 minutes, Kai.
Okay.
I take it you got a command that you could tell what level it's at?
Yep. You can, it's one of the status to get back. What is your compass and what is your level numbers? All there. Like I say, anything you see on the app itself, you can get data. Jason, you've been raising your hand, I see. Go ahead.
It's gonna let me talk here.
Go ahead.
The previous question I had before about getting your Seestar to move past the boundary when you're in Q
below
mode.
horizon, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you want to find out more, or?
Yes.
Okay, so the trick here is I gotta tell the Seestar that it's looking above what I think it is doing. So I actually, that's why I spent actually most of my last week getting it to work, is that what I do tell Seestar is that I set a parameter saying, do a deck offset, meaning that if I'm going to somewhere location deck 0 equal to -20, if I have a deck offset of 30, then the Seestar think I'm on deck 10. Does it make sense? So if Seestar think I'm in deck 10, they'll let you image, even though it's really below horizon.
What if you're like in Stellarium and you're telling it just to choose a target that's down south?
Well, because Stellarium talked to my middleman, right? So everything is hidden from everybody else. So I take care of all the dirty work. So anybody who talked to my middleman, it's fine. Now, you brought up a good point in that if you use the Seestar app to say where am I pointing, then this thing is pointing 30 degrees above what I think it is. Because Seestar app doesn't talk to me, it talks directly to the Seestar. So it's a hack, but it's a very good hack. But so all the users going through these middlemen is oblivious to the fact that I'm tricking Seestar. But if you go directly to Seestar, then you see what's going on. It's ideally ZWO should fix that bug, because it's just a stupid bug. But it's not a bug; it's just a stupid limitation. But I worked around it. So for your case, you can go ahead, with this, you can go ahead and image your sombrero, no problem. That's what I did. Okay.
Kai, thanks for all of this. This is great.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Kai, it's been wonderful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very
So,
nice.
so what I would say, save this, and I'll post both of these videos to my YouTube, and then I hope to post this code by this week, and I'm hoping to recruit a few beta testers and maybe recruit somebody to write a starter guide. So once they kind of go through 1 or 2 rounds, then the starter guide will be more usable. Then people can start using it. I'm more worried about supporting all bunch of questions beginning. Okay. Yes, you have more questions. Go ahead. Someone have questions? Anybody else?
So Kai, your software that you wrote is basically the Stellarium is talking to your software.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Which is Python code, and it's running on a local machine that Stellarium may be working off my Android device, but it would then, I would point it to my home PC that's running your software, and then that points to the Seestar machines that I have.
Yep.
And so I would have one of your pieces running for each one of my Seestars. Is that right? And then
you don't need to. My one of my app can control multiple Seestars.
Okay, so then in Stellarium, I tell it to point to my PC that's running your app, and then in somewhere in your app, you say that you're connected to Stellarium A, Stellarium B, Stellarium C.
Let me make sure. So,
right?
My app will point to Seestar A, B, C.
Yes.
Okay.
And it tells Stellarium that?
Stellarium, I can have one Stellarium talk to my app, which can now control A, B, C. Or if you have multiple Stellarium, you can do that as well.
But but if your software is pointing to different Seestars, then in Stellarium, I see 3 different Seestars.
Yes, you do. Okay.
Because your app tells Seestar
exactly.
That's what he's controlling.
Yeah, exactly. That's why in my demo you saw 3 different Seestars all being controlled. Okay. All right, I have 2.
Kai,
Anybody else want to chime in?
Thank you.
Kai, if I could just get some clarification on that. So in Stellarium, we need to set up 3 telescopes.
Or whatever telescope you have, as many as you want.
Right, let's say in your scenario. Okay. And in your app, there's a configuration file that we actually indicate what those